Hello, my audience. My name is Huajing Liu.
And I'm Daria Helonek.
And both of us are designers from Jason Bruges studio. So today we are talking about lights in movement. So first of all, I think I would like to take a little bit of time to talk about our studio, Jason Bruges studio. Thank you. So Jason Bruges studio is a multidisciplinary art and design studio. And our work sits on the boundary of art, architecture, and technology. And we are very interested in dynamic, spatial, multisensory design. And we are very interested in science, both science and nature. And we encourage people to play and to interact with our art pieces. And so as you can see, we are interested in so many different things, and we have been doing so many different designs. However, if you ask for me to summarize what we do the most, in 2 words, I would say light and movement. So the first word, light, Wikipedia says, light is electromagnetic radiation within a certain portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. I guess that's too obscure, at least for myself. So what we are talking about today is very simple, visible lights. And the movements, so is it the movements of lights? Maybe. But it seems probably not enough, or doesn't make sense to only talk about lights and movements without talking about us as humans and our surroundings. So the movements we're talking about today, we're looking at today, is actually, it can be movements of the lights, the movements of people, the movements of objects around us. To begin with, Daria, please talk about the movement of light.
So how does light move in a choreography? This art piece is called Light Metheny, and it is a performative piece in a really old church in York. And the piece aims to create an ephemeral, almost second architecture within this holistic space. Commissioned by the City of Culture, York, a variety of artists were invited to create moving light installations throughout the city. And this piece resulted in an epic site-specific installation using 48 choreographed moving headlights to create a spectacular and dynamic light architecture. And I really think that choreographed light is very important to really create emotional experiences. So rather than the light is moving with you, for example, it is enough to sometimes observe a choreography of light and really create something. So I think about, for example, the first time I went to a theater and really see those lights moving with people and creating a choreography around people. And this is something that really has potential to create an emotional experience. But what if light literally moves with people? So this is an art piece we just finished, and it's called Vector Field, which is a site-specific media art work for the Dallas Love Field Airport. And the rhythm of the light piece is determined by the moving passengers through at these airports. So millions of people pass this airport every day, and it's really, we take movement actually for granted. We take traveling and commuting for granted. But what if you take this as a topic and augment people's movement above you, and it really creates this moment of reflecting above you, about you and the people around you and the environment. But however, moving people and light moving with people can also happen in a very playful way. which we as a studio encourage, for example. So this is an artwork that is in Toronto, and people are invited to cross those art pieces which really come to life as soon as you pass them.
This is another example, I guess, to show how light interacts working with people's movement. So here you can see the trees formed by very beautiful light effects branch up the wall based on the people's movements, based on the people's location in the space. And then, so we have seen quite a few different cases of how lights interact with people's movements. What else? What else can move? Can it be a train movement, for example? Yes, it can. So this is a piece we did. So you can see there are ghost passengers, if you like, behind on the other side of the platform. And they are trying to get on the train while the train arrives. So, and then together with the real passengers. So when the train leaves, the passengers will just, you think they're also getting off the train and then just hanging around on the station, in the station, and waiting for the next train to arrive. And it can also be about the city's movement. So this is a piece we did for W Hotel. So basically what we did is to record the movement of the city during the day, and at nighttime, the day of the city will be expressed by lights on the building's facade, and then as a performance, so that we call it, the piece name is called the show time, just as if it's performing at nighttime. So we have a couple of different angled cameras on top of the roof to capture the city's movement and then play back on the facade at nighttime. Oh, actually, it can also be about the trolley bed movement in a hospital. So here you can see the movements in the corridor will actually trigger the lights of the animals. And then so you can see different animals are triggered at different times and at different locations based on the movements happening in front of it. So here are just a few slides to show the back of the scene for your interest. So this is when we were actually developing the piece, and then some prototypes. And then, so this piece, I think, is basically a distraction piece for young patients. Basically, what we were trying to do is to create a calming yet engaging environment for the little ones, for them to transition from their wards to the surgery room. It can be very nervous for them, but with this piece going along with them, it can be much better. It can make them feel much better.
So all the pieces that we showed you so far are using artificial light to create movement, to show choreographed light or move people. But what if you actually manipulate natural light? So besides the beautiful sculptural element of this piece, which mimics the movement of birds, it's actually about tricking the physics of natural light. So rather than using LED lights and animating them in a choreography, this piece is really about taking a liquid crystal and actually blocking out the natural light that surrounds us and creating movement with that. And how does light visualize invisible movement? This art piece you can actually experience in London along the Thames. And I think the studio is generally really interested in visualizing the invisible. And this art piece is not only about, it's not representing the movement of the water, it's more visualizing pollution that we sometimes can't see with the pure eye. So the facade reflects the water quality of the water. So and really visualizing this movement of that throughout this art piece.
Sometimes visualize the invisible things can be as simple as just visualize the wind movement, the air movement. So this is a piece, unfortunately we don't have any moving images, but this piece is to use the wind energy generates little lights across the shore and to visualize the air movements. And then you can actually see where the wind is stronger than other areas and then where the lights are brighter than other areas. So far, we have discussed lights being interactive to various different movements. But no matter what kind of movements the lights are interactive with, actually everyone sees the same effects. Everyone sees have the same experience at the same time. So for example, like the trees, everyone sees the same tree. And then the ghost passengers, for example, everyone sees the same group of ghost passengers, and the same as the animals. Everyone sees the same panels of animals appearing on the wall. So, and then all of them is maybe like lights and movements creates a shared experience. So, we're just wondering, what if we can see different effects at one point? Different people see differently at one point, at one time. Is it possible? So, very excitingly, I would like to say that Jason Bush Studio is at the moment developing a piece that's actually studying to create a specific, unique experience for each individual person, which is lights plus movements equals personal experience. And I would like everyone, please stay tuned for us, and then we will come up with some more interesting things in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.